Live from the WPAA studios in Wallingford, Connecticut, and streaming live worldwide on the web at WPAA.tv. Welcome to the Open Mic TV show. I'm your host, Michael Cuomo, and welcome along on this Wednesday night, October 10th, 2012. The number to call in, as always, ladies and gentlemen, 203-265-6310, and I will be here until 9 p.m. taking your call, so be sure to give me a call, whatever's on your mind. We will talk about it. I have a lot to get to. And on the TV there, you're going to see the edit or the announcements that our technical director Mike will post up regarding our Facebook.com and YouTube details. If you want to see the Open Mic show, it's now up and running on youtube.com. There it is, /OpenMike80 is the address, and facebook.com /OpenMikeTV. So there it is, facebook.com. Thank you, Mike. Those are the two avenues that you have in addition to WPAA.tv, where you can view it live here, and you can also watch the replays live or replays on WPAA at your convenience. Speaking of replays on WPAA, we had a record number of hits last week regarding the show that I had with Michael Buckley, which transpired a week ago, believe it or not. It's already been a week. And Michael was a very, very special guest, a great guest. And like I said, we broke records with views on WPAA. I had a lot of feedback from his appearance here on the show. Very special thank you to Michael Buckley again for coming on last week, taking time out of his busy schedule. We really appreciate it. And as I told Michael last Wednesday, I'd love to have him on again at some point. So we will certainly keep that option open. Speaking of guests, I do have a guest that I just got confirmed last night. Didn't announce it on the Facebook page yet. I don't know why, but maybe I did and I can't remember. But anyway, the special guest is going to be coming on Wednesday night, October 24th, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And this gentleman that's going to be coming on is running for state representative against Mary Mashinsky. He is the Republican candidate, Greg Bashand. And Greg will be joining me live on the set here 2 weeks on Wednesday, October 24th. So be sure to mark your calendar, as we're going to have Greg Bashand on as our special guest. And again, he is going against Democrat Mary Mashinsky, who I believe has been in office since the Jimmy Carter days. I think she's been in office about 30 years. So I want to talk to Greg and ask him, the questions that you people want to know and the answers that you want to know. Why should we vote for him? What is he going to do different than Mary? And we'll get a little background on his whole political career and life and personal things. So it'll be a great show. With that being said, we're going to return now to the poll question of the week. We've been doing some trivia questions. We've been doing some poll questions on occasion. However, tonight I want to do a poll question that actually might benefit you, the viewer, in the sense that you get to choose. If we have an overwhelming response of a particular answer, then I will have to succumb to that decision and be that for Halloween. So what I'm getting at is, poll question is, with Halloween only 3 weeks away, what costume would you like me to wear on the Open Mic Halloween show? We will be having a live show the night of Halloween, October 31st, which is just 3 weeks away. And I am trying to, I'm torn between several costumes that I could wear. So I wanted to get some feedback from you and see what is a good costume. Now again, we'll have to keep this, G-rated. But what is a costume that you would like to see me wear for the Halloween show? So that is tonight's poll question. Let's see if we can get some good answers regarding that. So give me a call. We'll talk about it. We'll obviously entertain all, possibilities. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start the show off tonight with some local news, and then we'll move on to the other segments. But locally speaking, we had a really big weekend this past weekend here in Wallingford as we celebrated the annual Celebrate Wallingford event. And I was in attendance on Saturday. We had the WPAA booth there all weekend. I made my rounds, if you will, and I stopped by. I did some live footage or some live, shots from the festival on Saturday. I hope you had a chance to go out to the Celebrate Wallingford event. I think it was a great turnout. I mean, especially Saturday with the threat of rain that we were going to have for most of the weekend. I think everybody kind of turned out in numbers on Saturday. But I wanted to quickly say that I liked the location of where it was held much better this year than in previous years. It was held on North Main / South Main Street this year. Anywhere from like the post office or town hall all the way down to the Archie Moore, Half Moon Pizza area. And it was, I think, better than having it downtown near the train station because you don't have to deal with the train going by every couple minutes. Plus the downtown area where the train is, where they typically have Celebrate Wallingford, is a much smaller venue than it is up the street a little bit. So congratulations on everyone that was a part of Celebrate Wallingford. It seemed to be a really great hit this year. With that being said, I want to jump into a local story that actually at one time was a national. This person was more known nationally than locally. She is a former WWF. And I say WWF because when she was part of the WWF, it was still known as the WWF. Now it's WWE. Her name is Tammy Sitch, who was known in the ring as Sunny. She was a wrestling manager, and I remember her quite well growing up in the 90s watching. But get this, she has been arrested in the last month alone. She was arrested 4 times. In the last month. This took place in Brantford. Apparently, I don't know if her ex-boyfriend or her current boyfriend lives at this residence in Brantford, and she's been known to go there, break in, police get called in on her, she's found intoxicated, and then she's, charged, she goes to court the next day, post bond, whatever. Well, up until last night, I was only going to say that it happened 4 times in a month, but then I come find out that late yesterday she was arrested for the 5th time. Same charges, same exact area. So she was arrested 5 times in the last 30 days for basically recommitting the same, breaking the same law over and over. And I feel bad because she is one of these stories where she went from fame now to basically, from what I gather, substance abuse problems, heavily drinking and getting into drugs and stalking ex-boyfriends, breaking into his house. So I know a lot of wrestling fans that are probably watching know exactly who she is. Some people that don't watch wrestling or never did are probably wondering who am I speaking about. But her name, or in the ring, was known as Sunny. Her real name is Tammy Sitch. But anyway, I just figured I'd bring that up. And last thing I have on the local front was the latest poll regarding the Senate candidate race between Democrat Chris Murphy and Republican Linda McMahon. As of yesterday, the latest poll shows Chris Murphy still leads with 5 points, or by 5 points. But the poll consisted of just 500 likely voters, so you can take that for whatever it's worth. But we shall see. I mean, as producer Pat and I were speaking before the show over dinner, it's amazing that the election is less than a month away. And I'm still working on getting a special guest lined up for the post-election, because Election Day will be Tuesday, and I'm trying to get a guest on for the Wednesday who is very familiar with politics to kind of go over all the results. But this Senate race is certainly going to be interesting as we move forward, as we don't know who's going to actually win. My gut feeling, and I know I might be breaking a lot of people's hearts, but I think Chris Murphy actually will win. I am also going to go on record and say that I personally think that Barack Obama is going to get reelected. Again, I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying who I think is going to win here. So please don't shoot the messenger. But we shall see. Crazier things have happened. Stranger things have happened. So let's see what goes on in these next several weeks. And I know tomorrow night, speaking of politics and President Obama, we got the vice presidential debate between Paul Ryan and Joe Biden on tomorrow night. So hopefully you'll be able to tune in and watch that. So, all right, well, that's pretty much all I have for local news this week. Not a whole lot going on. I just wanted to touch up on some of the Celebrate Wallingford and some other things going on. But I want to now switch gears to sports. I want to take some time and talk about some sports-related stuff. And then once we go to our PSA break, we'll come back and talk about some national news. And I also have some news of the weird / odd stories to talk about, which is quite funny. But let's quickly touch up on the sports segments now. As we all know, Major League Baseball, the playoffs are in full swing. No pun intended. And speaking of Major League Baseball, I want to quickly mention, I don't think I got to this last week, but Bobby Valentine, who was the skipper and manager of the Boston Red Sox, has been fired. And Terry Francona, ironically, who was with the Red Sox, who was fired, is now hired by the Cleveland Indians as their new skipper. So we have Bobby Valentine being fired, out of a job. We now have Terry Francona getting hired by the Cleveland Indians. So a lot of personnel changes going on in baseball. And we have the playoffs in full swing. As I said, tonight, Yankees are playing the Baltimore Orioles, Game 3. It is, I think the series is tied at 1 game apiece. And there are some other games going on. We got the Washington Nationals taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. We have the San Francisco Giants taking on the Cincinnati Reds. And the other American League game is the Detroit Tigers and the Oakland A's. So those are the final 8 games, or 8 teams, rather, that are in this tournament. So if anyone is watching that is a diehard baseball fan, regardless of who you root for, I am not a huge baseball fan as I am a football fan, but I would like to hear from you to see who you predict will be winning this, who's going to win the World Series based on the teams that are currently in it. Who do you think is going to come out on top, and who do you think is going to pull off an upset? So if you have any baseball knowledge or predictions and you want to call me, by all means, give me a call, 203-265-6310. Switching gears now to NFL, which is really my heart and soul of sports. That's what I love to talk about. We still have 2 undefeated teams in the NFL currently. We have the Houston Texans and the Atlanta Falcons, both 5-0. And I am going to get to my NFL pick. Now, if you've been watching each and every week, and I know you have, I have been predicting quite accurately with the point spread each and every week just one NFL game. My record to date for this year is 4-1. So I am quite pleased with my record, and I am going to now give you my weekly pick, as I always do each and every week. I was just speaking about the Atlanta Falcons as one of the undefeated teams, and that's actually going to be my pick this week. Before I get to that pick, though, I want to mention last week I took the Minnesota Vikings, in case you missed the show, giving 6 points against the Tennessee Titans, and Minnesota easily defeated them. I think it was 30-10 was the final. Okay, so this week's pick, ladies and gentlemen, NFL pick this week. The Atlanta Falcons, as of tonight, they were 9-point favorites to go against the Oakland Raiders. And I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons, giving the 9 points. I know it's a lot of points, giving 9, but Atlanta is at home, and they are one of the best NFL teams at home in the last 4 or 5 years. Just a ridiculous record at home, winning. I think they're going to destroy the Oakland Raiders. Anytime you have a team on the West Coast travel across to the East Coast, it usually takes its toll on them. They usually don't play as well. The whole time zone change. So I'm going to say Atlanta Falcons easily win this game, giving the 9 points. So I'm going to try to go for a 5-1 record on the year. And to talk or finish up on the NFL scene, I predicted prior to the NFL season starting that the New York Jets were going to finish the season with a 6-10 record. Currently, they have a 2-3 record, so they are well on their way to having a 6-10 record. And I watched the game Monday night. They played the Houston Texans. I don't know what they're actually going to do with this whole Tebow Sanchez dual quarterback thing. I mean, they brought in Tebow for a couple plays. He actually looked pretty good. His passes were right on target. He actually hit one of his receivers right in their hands, which they dropped. And then they take him out, put Sanchez back in. He kind of played okay, but there's a lot of Jet fans that are looking for a change at quarterback, and we might see it. I personally think they should, just to see what happens. Let's bring in Tebow, and let's see if he has the magic that we've known, we saw him have last year. If the Jets and the offense is stagnant, then let's bring in Tebow and see what he can do. Speaking of stagnant offenses, I am certainly not going to bring up my team, the Buffalo Bills, this week, as we also have a 2-3 record, and we are pretty much looking at a number 1 draft pick. So I am going to skip talking about them, and we'll move on with other sports-related news. But if you want to call in, I know I don't typically have people call in to say who's your favorite NFL team. If you want to call in, you can address the baseball playoffs. We can talk about that. You can tell me who is your NFL team, who do you root for. What do you think about this whole Jets situation with the 2 quarterbacks? We can obviously talk about that if you want to call in. A quick reminder, if you want to check out, if you happen to miss last week's show, which was terrific with Michael Buckley, you can go on WPAA.tv and click on Video on Demand on the top. It'll pull up the replay. Also, if Mike can pull up the credits again, it's going to show you there's 2 other ways to watch, and that's on Facebook.com/OpenMike1TV, which there it is. I encourage you to click like to become a fan of Open Mic. The other option, if you missed last week's show, is you can go on YouTube, and there it is, youtube.com/OpenMic80 will bring you to my Open Mic page. So it'll show you some footage on there, the show in its entirety with Michael Buckley last week. We will be having shows posted on YouTube each and every week. So it is going to be a great thing moving forward to try to get the Open Mic brand out there. And I encourage you to tell your friends and family about it. Last week, if you saw, we were getting calls from Texas, Indiana, Massachusetts, all to talk to Michael Buckley. One person in particular that you didn't hear about call was a gentleman who called in after the show, about 9:02. We happened to take the call, and he was actually calling from Canada to try to speak to Michael Buckley. So last week's show was was quite universal, to say the least, where, we had all these people watching from all over the world, and it was quite cool. So, but anyway, I definitely recommend you check out youtube.com, check out the Facebook page, and become a fan of Open Mic, and we will certainly appreciate that. That's all I have really in sports. In case you cared, I mentioned this last time, I think the NHL lockout, as far as I know, they're still in a lockout. There hasn't been any set agreement on the NHL yet, so personally I'm not a big hockey fan, but again, I don't want to discriminate. I don't want to exclude any people out there. I know there's a lot of diehard hockey fans, so I want to talk about hockey as well. Just because I like NFL, it doesn't mean that's all we're going to talk about. We'll kind of keep everything up for discussion. So I think that's all I have in the sports segment. Oh, actually, I don't have his name. I know I should have wrote this down. Gentleman passed away, played for the Detroit Lions. I think his name was Alex Karras, I believe, if I'm going off of memory. I apologize. He was 77 years old. I think he died of some sort of kidney failure, and he played for the Detroit Lions. He was also on the hit sitcom Webster for 12 years, and he passed away yesterday with his family at his bedside. So a very sad time for Mr. I think it's Alex Karras. I will get confirmation of that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to our call. First call of the night. Good evening, caller. You're live on Open Mic.
Hey, good evening, Michael. Just talking about your Jets pick. Based on the way they're playing and the quarterback situation, I don't think they're going to get to 6-10. I think they're going to struggle the rest of the year. I think 4-12, 5-11. And I think you'll see Tebow be the quarterback before too long, because I don't know. I think they're not going anywhere, and people are going to start calling for him, and I think that's the direction we're gonna see with the Jets over the next 3-4 weeks.
Are you a Jet fan, or?
I am actually not a Jet fan. I'm a huge football fan, but not a big follower of the Jets. But the whole situation kind of fascinates me, the way they brought in Tebow, and obviously they don't have any confidence in Sanchez to go out, I think, and bring in Tebow. I don't think it's done much for his confidence, and I think it's hurt him.
And I don't know if you heard, caller, today the owner of the Jets, Woody Johnson, was on a TV program saying that Tebow is going to be there for the next 3 years.
Yeah, he said he was going to, the 3-year contract. So
you're going to have another 3 years of a circus unless they say this is our guy, and Sanchez, they might have to trade him. I know they just gave him $20 million, but how do you have a dual quarterback system in the NFL? No other team has that.
Nope. And it just shows you, I don't know, you look at the teams that are successful in the NFL, you have to have a quarterback. You cannot win in the NFL. And I'm actually a big Redskin fan, and, the future's bright with RG3. They haven't had a quarterback for 5 years, so it's nice to have somebody in place.
Yeah, and I know all about having a team without a quarterback because I'm a huge Bills fan.
Oof.
But, this past couple weeks were two stingers.
Yeah, the defense is a mess up there. So
terrible. Well, I appreciate the call.
All right, well, take care, Michael.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, we won't talk about my Bills giving up, almost 100 points the last two games. It's totally atrocious. I don't know if anyone saw this on Facebook. I was so upset with the Bills' performance on Sunday that Monday morning I was calling into a Buffalo radio program who covers the Bills, and I had to wait about 30 minutes to get through, but I vented my frustration to the poor guy who answered the phone. I was on the air for a couple minutes, and I made some valid points, but we shall see. I personally, at this point, just want them to lose the rest of the games. Let's get a new coach in, new quarterback. Let's get a good draft pick and go from there. Let's get to our next caller. Good evening, caller. You're live on Open Mic.
I'm not sure what that last caller is talking about, but it's pretty obvious to me that the New York Jets will finish the season at 13-3.
Oh, okay. Well, of course. I mean, that's the obvious pick.
Starting as we shock the Indianapolis Colts this weekend, I hope.
Well, Mr. McCarver, thank you for calling. To say to shock the Indianapolis Colts going into the season, I think if the Colts were to beat anyone, that would be a shock. But
they've, no pun intended, had a lot of good luck this year, including an upset victory over
the Packers.
Over Green Bay.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. As much as people love him, I see him make a couple throws or he'll run for a first down, and he gets a little cocky.
Yeah.
You know, have you seen that, his body language?
Yeah, and he is a little bit maybe doing the discount
double check.
Yeah. But actually, the main reason why I called and I talked about it on Facebook was the passing of Alex Karras, who.
Alex Karras. I think I had his name right earlier. I don't know if you heard me or not. I was saying, I think I said Alex Karras, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And I want to ask you,
yep.
And this may be showing my age, did you ever hear of a movie called Blazing Saddles?
I can't say I have, no.
I haven't? I really am up in years. You've heard of Animal House, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because if you said that, I would have fainted right on the floor.
And another one of our favorites, Debbie Does Dallas, I think?
No, not that.
I'm sorry.
Well, Maureen just walked in, so I can't say that's one of my favorites. But,
okay, I'm sorry.
By the way, she enjoyed meeting you last week at Celebrate Wallingford. And,
yeah, likewise.
Yep, that was a fun event, Celebrate Wallingford. Like the way they had it uptown this year.
I was saying that. I mean, it just seems that downtown by the train station with all the noise, the lack of space, it just doesn't seem feasible or logical.
Well, it was a nice setup. In Uptown used to be like that until they shut down that section in front of Archie Moore's, right in front of Simpson Court. Then to make that an additional area for Celebrate Wallingford, I thought was a good move by the organizers.
Yeah.
But anyway, Blazing Saddles, Alex Karras, and some of your older viewers will remember this. Alex Karras played a part called Mongo.
Oh, okay.
And it was a very the movie is a classic. Again, your older viewers will remember what a classic movie it is. I don't want to get into the plot because I don't want to get off the subject here. But Alex Karras had a key role in it. He also was an announcer for Monday Night Football for a couple of seasons back with Frank Gifford and Howard Cosell.
Oh, really?
Back in those days, yeah. He had a classic line that I remember. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but Otis Sistrunk, who played for the Oakland Raiders. And this is he had shaved his head, and it was a cold night, and they showed him on the bench, and you could see the steam coming from Otis Sistrunk. And Alex Karras made the remark, "Yes, there's Otis Sistrunk, who played his college ball at the University of Mars," which was a funny line.
That's great. Mr. McCarver, if I may, and I forgot to ask the previous caller, the poll question of the week pertains to the Holly. It's been a long day. Halloween episode coming up in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Is there a particular costume you would love to see your favorite TV host wear the night of Halloween?
Well, the two that come to mind.
Is it a Tim Tebow and Mark Sanchez?
No, I was going to say, maybe the Frankenstein monster. I'm an old Universal fan.
Yeah, Frankenstein was one of my first choices. I figured I would leave it up as a poll question tonight to see if I got some good feedback of some good ideas.
And the other thought that I had, and just in deference to our friends at the top rope, maybe he's coming in as the Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
Might be kind of nice. So,
yeah.
You know.
Maybe I can come in as Michael Buckley and get a lot of calls that night.
That was a tremendous show last week. You should.
Terrific show. You know what? I'm kind of like I feel depleted tonight because I'm here alone, I mean, of course, I love getting calls, but I know I will never be able to duplicate last week's show ever again.
It was so nice. I imagine it must have been a thrill to get calls from, not only from Canada, but from Indiana,
Texas.
Texas, that was tremendous.
Yeah, it was great, and we had a ton of views on PAA for the replay, and it's on YouTube. So
Nice.
I hope to get Michael on again someday.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
he's a good kid.
Yeah,
he's a good kid, and I think what I recall from him, and I know Tommy and I talked about it last week. He's just the same on camera or off camera. He's the real deal.
Yep, absolutely.
He's a very nice young man.
Yes, sir. Well,
anyway, Frankenstein or the Undertaker, and Alex Karras was a good man. I'm sorry to hear what happened to him, and I hope some of your older viewers will call in, and I hope some of them have heard of Blazing Saddles, because now I really...
Come on, Ed, you're not that old. I mean, you
62.
62?
So,
you don't look a day over 61. Come on.
62 is the new 61.
Well,
so
Ed,
a little bit better.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Mr. McCarver's defense for being 62, he just finished first in the Fishbine Road Race in his age group, so...
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm back running again, and the knee felt good, so I was happy about that, and I appreciate the plug.
All right.
Well, all right, Michael, you have yourself a good night.
You too, Ed. Good talking with you.
Thank you. Same here. Yeah, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. All right, we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to regroup and come back in our second half. I got some national news, world news to get to, some news of the weird. Again, if you have any comments on the poll question as to what type of costume would you like to see me in for the Halloween show, give me a call, and we will certainly keep all options open. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this quick break.
So, do you have any questions?
What is your soup of the day?
We have a mulligatawny soup.
Oh, do you have any specials?
We have a steak special today.
Oh, how's that cooked?
That's pan-seared and then...
Does it come with a side dish? Is it grilled? Can I have it steamed? So, what do you recommend? What kind of pie do you have?
You an actor.
Aren't you from Ohio?
Any questions?
Ask questions. For the 10 questions everyone should know, go to ahrq.gov.
Abandoned and lost. From the dark, cold streets of the city to a cage in the local shelter, to heaven, your lap.
Folks, why won't we go to the doctor? My uncle called, speech all slurred, complaining his arms numb. He called everyone. He even called my daughter Tiara, because, she's got a year of nursing. Everyone thinks he needs to go to the doctor, including me. So he said, well, will you take me? I'm like, I'm on the road. He goes, I'll wait. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love have symptoms of stroke, don't wait. It may be too late. Dial 911. Time loss is brain loss.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Open Mic. I'm your host, Michael Cuomo. We are back for the second half of the live program here at Open Mic. Before we took our break, we were speaking to Mr. Ed McCarver and talking a little bit of Jets, also the passing of Alex Karras, 77 years old, from the hit sitcom Webster, also played for the Detroit Lions. So a lot of news to get to, a lot of big stories, and with that being said, we have our next caller. Let's get to this caller. Good evening, caller. You're live on Open Mic.
Good evening, Mr. Cuomo.
Good evening, Mr. Tom Dacey. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing great. What's going on out there in Hollywood land?
I just want to say, I think that last phone caller was very delusional. Because I agree with your earlier caller that said the Jets are going to struggle this year.
When you say the last caller, are you alluding to Ed McCarver?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I think, yes, I don't know if Ed was drinking prior to calling in, but he is going on record saying that the Jets will finish 13-3. But anyway, no, it's not nice to laugh at the callers, Tom.
In this case, we'll make an exception.
Okay. Speaking of football, I want to congratulate your Miami Dolphins.
Yes, we actually won this week. Amazing.
Yeah, and I think you guys are 2-3, right?
Yes.
So you're tied with the Jets and the Bills.
I don't really have any high hopes for us this year, but
yeah, well,
as far as Ed's Jets, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, and like I said, Woody Johnson was on a TV show today saying that Tebow is going to be there for the next 3 years. So, I mean, are we going to have to deal with 2 quarterbacks for the next 3 years? That's impossible.
Crazy.
It's crazy. They got to make a decision, and I think Tebow will be the starter, and Mark Sanchez is going to cry his way out of town. They're going to have to get rid of him.
Absolutely. And my vote for your Halloween costume?
Yes, is it the one I already have on now?
No, Ed McCarver.
Oh, Ed McCarver. Okay.
Or you could always go as a penguin or a chicken.
Well, I'm not really into barnyard animals, but I saw one too many tapes about them. Well, I appreciate it, Tommy. I will certainly keep that in mind.
Sure, I think Ed McCarver would be a scary costume in itself. Especially if he had a Jet shirt on.
Yeah, well, I thought Ed was going to, suggest I dress up as Tebow or Sanchez, but he said Frankenstein, which is actually one of my choices I was thinking of.
Yeah, you would make a good Frankenstein because of your height.
Yeah.
That's another interesting fact. I don't know if you saw it about the updated version of the Munsters coming out.
No, I haven't.
Did you see who they casted as Herman Munster?
No.
Jerry O'Connell.
Really?
Yeah, which makes no sense to me.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I would think they would have taken somebody like Brad Garrett or somebody like that.
Right.
But Jerry O'Connell?
Yeah, I don't get that either. But hey, real quick, Tom, before I let you go, what's your take on Bobby Valentine getting canned?
In a way, I feel kind of bad because the blame, it's not all his fault, I mean, the players weren't producing. Yeah.
I saw that coming. I mean, it was just not a good marriage. And before we let you go, Tommy, what did you think of last week's show with Michael Buckley?
Awesome. One of your best shows yet, and as Ed said, Michael's just as kind off camera as he is on. He's a great person, and to think he got his start assisting with Ed and I one night on a Talking with Tom.
Yeah, that's amazing. He went from off the street operating a camera for you guys to now being, having 1 million YouTube subscribers.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and 600,000 Twitter followers. I mean, so I really appreciated it when he was actually interviewing me last week. Towards the end of the show, asking me what my goals are, where do I see myself, and I thought that was really nice of him.
And I understand he's got a weekly gig with Better Connecticut now on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays he's on Better Connecticut, which is seen at 3 p.m., Channel 3. I'm actually going to a taping of Better Connecticut on the 22nd.
Oh, so, that should be nice to see live.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get my boy Scott Haney to agree to come on the show for finally. I mean, I've been chasing him for years.
Good luck with that. He's, he kind of reminds me of Michael Buckley.
Yeah, I can see the comparison, and certainly both outgoing, like to talk, and the ladies love him.
Yep, they're two great personalities.
Yeah.
But keep up the great work with the show, Mike, and it was great to see you this past weekend at Celebrate Wallingford.
Same here, Tommy. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Thank you for the call, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to quickly, well, not quickly, but we do have 20 minutes left. We want to get to some national news here, and then we'll get to some news of the weird / odd stories. But let's get to our next caller, and then we will address some of these things. Good evening, caller. You're live and open mic.
Gracious good evening. Has the rain stopped?
Hey, good evening. Backfeed Bob. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. You look great tonight.
Thank you. The rain has stopped, and I am here, so the sun is shining.
Indeed.
Yes. Life is good.
I have sort of a sad story I thought I'd share with you.
Okay.
Recently, a judge has brought an entire family in to the court because it was determined that everyone in this young boy's family was abusing him and striking him and beating him.
Uh-huh.
And in front of all of them, he asked the boy, son, I cannot allow you to go back to your family because everyone in there is, taking advantage of you and striking you and this and that. What shall I do with you? Do you want to go to a foster family, a foster home? What shall I do?
Right.
And the little boy, of course, approached the judge and whispered in his ear what he'd like to do. The judge then consulted with the family services. He consulted with some other attorneys. He came back and he said, well, ladies and gentlemen, I have reached an agreement, and I do agree to put him in the care of, as he has asked, the Boston Red Sox. And the father says, well, why the Boston Red Sox? He says, well, ask your son. And the son said, well, Dad, the reason that I would like to be in their care is because they can't beat anybody.
That's great. You could have also used the Buffalo Bills in that joke, but they can't beat anyone either.
Oh, my goodness, huh?
That's a good one, Backfeed. Thank you for that. So, any suggestions on the Halloween show 3 weeks from tonight? Any costumes that you think Michael Cuomo would look good in for the Halloween show?
Well, I enjoy the old monster movies and monsters that we had years ago. I thought we did a tremendous job putting out these B movies and the excitement that they brought about. But one of the first scare movies or monsters I ever saw that really caught me was simply because of the instantaneous way they would shoot the film to you, was the old non-talkie version of The Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps with a phantom look, you might look quite dashing.
Oh, well, thank you. I will certainly consider that. I had a Frankenstein request, and I forgot what the other caller said. Oh yeah, Ed McCarver, dressed up as Ed McCarver. So I have a couple different options here.
Yeah, you don't want to frighten people off the show.
Well, no, you're right, and we might get trick-or-treaters that night, so I certainly don't want them to cry to their mommies and daddies that I scared them.
Mm.
But,
very good.
Anything else on your mind, Backfeed?
No, we're good for tonight. I just wanted to share that heartwarming story with you with the little boy.
I appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
Anytime. Have a nice.
All right, take care. All right, Backfeed Bob calling in. Again, I want to quickly mention that Wednesday night, October 24th, 2 weeks from tonight, my special guest here will be Greg Bachand, who is the Republican candidate for state rep going against the Democratic incumbent Mary Mashinsky. So be sure to tune into that show. Let's get to now some national news, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap things up. The Jerry Sandusky trial has come to an end. The verdict was read. The sentencing was actually issued yesterday. Jerry Sandusky was sentenced to 30 to 60 years in jail, found guilty of molesting 10 boys over a 15-year period. And I don't know if you guys think this is a fair judgment or not, fair punishment, but it's safe to say he will be spending the rest of his life in jail. And even at the sentencing, he has been defiant in saying that he would never do these disgusting things, and he knows in his heart that he's innocent. So it just seems like it is a slap in the face towards the victims that he is still becoming or still is defiant and not, showing any remorse, not showing any guilt, and just basically saying that he's never done these things, even though we have overwhelming evidence that these accusations were true. So we could go on for a whole hour talking about it, but I just wanted to mention the whole Jerry Sandusky thing is hopefully behind us, but again, the victims will always have to deal with that in their families, in their minds for the rest of their lives. Switching gears, a host on QVC, I don't know if you saw this, she fainted while she was doing a live demonstration on TV, on QVC, and she started, touching her chest and basically fainted live on air, so her co-host had to take over and attend to her. And but again, I think QVC reported she's doing fine. I don't recall her name, or else I would have given that out to you. I don't personally watch QVC, but I just thought that a live QVC rep who faints live on television would make for some sort of news segment here as I'm addressing. So I just figured it would be interesting. The presidential debate, which the first one actually occurred last week when I finished my show up last week with Michael Buckley and we said our goodbyes. I rushed home to my palatial estate on Blossom Lane, and I turned on the debate a little bit late, but there was actually 60 million people who tuned into last week's debate, and there will be 3 more debates before Election Day. There's going to be one held tomorrow, October 11th, October 16th, and October 22nd. In case you missed the debate, it appeared that Governor Romney was more crisp in his debate. President Obama seemed a little more laid back in his debate. And again, Vice President Biden and Paul Ryan will appear in their first debate tomorrow night. But it's amazing, ladies and gentlemen, the media, and I hope I never get like this if I ever go work for a big media, CNN or MSNBC or Fox. The bias from the media towards politicians is at an all-time high. There used to be times where you could just turn on the news and get the news. You would get the facts, reported to you, and then you would kind of make your own opinion based on what you were told. But now, I turn on MSNBC or I turn on CNN, and all I see are 5 people up at a desk who are pro-Obama and they're anti-Romney. And then I'll turn on Fox News and you got 5 people on their desk that are pro-Romney, anti-Obama. And it's like you just don't want to have to favor news stations. You'd wish that all news stations were on the same playing level. They were all unbiased, right down the middle. But it's amazing because there's so many people, especially on MSNBC. There's that Rachel Madden or whatever her name is. You got Chris Matthews, and these people are just in love with President Obama. And you go to Fox News, you got Sean Hannity, who obviously despises President Obama, and I just never seen this big clash of newscasts ever so predominantly as I have, in this last several months. And I think it's only going to get worse. And it's like, can we just cool it? Can we just all be on the same level playing field and maybe just be right down the middle? Let's not take sides. Let's not choose sides. Let's not say, why he's better than this one. Let's just state the facts. Let's state what he did. Let's state what Romney wants to do, what Obama wants to do, and have the viewer make the ultimate decision, which is what it comes down to. It's up to the vote. So I don't know. I just see a lot of bias towards the politicians when you turn on the major news channels. So let's get to our next caller, and then I got some stories here of the news of the weird, odd stories. Good evening, caller. You're live on the Open Mic TV show.
Hey, Mike. How you doing? It's John calling in.
Hey, Johnny. How are you?
Good. We're all watching your show like every Wednesday.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty.
What's going on?
Not much. I just wanted to call and brag and say my Patriots are in first place.
Oh, yes, they are. I really love you calling and telling me that.
Yes. That's why I had to call in.
If memory serves me correct, John, the Patriots have been in first place for the last several years, and I don't think they've won a Super Bowl since 2004, was it? I think it was 2004.
It's okay.
So I will say they are dominant in the season, but come playoff time,
this is going to be the year.
This is the year. Okay.
Hey, but that's even a costume you can wear for Halloween.
Oh yes. Who would you like me to be? Tom Brady?
Well, yes, and wear a Patriots jersey. That'll scare everyone.
Or maybe I could be Bill Belichick. And I could just sit up here and not tell the truth for an hour.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you for calling, John.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye now.
Bye. Yeah, Johnny is a huge Patriot fan, and besides that, I won't hold it against him, but it's all right. Defenses always seem to find ways to contain the Patriots' offense in the postseason when it matters. So, all right, we got some quick news here, news of the weird, some odd stories to get to before we wrap things up. This story, actually, I think we have another call, and then we'll get to this story. Hello, caller, you're live and open mic.
Hi, earlier you were talking about how many views you had on the website from last week's show. You said hundreds of views or whatever. Can you keep track? Like, do you know how many people are watching your show? Like, after this show ends, do you know how many people are watching this show? Like a Nielsen rating, but probably not, though.
No, unfortunately, that's a good question. We don't have currently. There's no Nielsen ratings here at WPAA. Possibly in the future they will have that capability, but. We had a lot of views on the PAA website showing the replay, and we had a lot of YouTube views. And I'm sure Michael Buckley had a lot of views because he posted this on his page. But it's crazy. He's got 600,000 Twitter followers. I mean, it's ridiculous. Did you catch last week's show?
Yeah, yes, I called in near the end. Yeah, I watched the whole show.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of the better shows I've had to date. And I really wish I could have him on as a permanent co-host each and every week because I am looking for a co-host. But we will see. But as of now, we don't have any way to really check the ratings. But that is something that I would love to have,
And for the Halloween costume,
yes.
I would like to see you as Hulk Hogan because Hogan's been in the news. I don't know if you know he's got a sex tape out. I don't know if you heard about that.
I heard about a sex tape, but I thought this was, is this another one? Because didn't he have one out about a year ago?
Yeah, but now it's released. I think it's the same one, but there were like rumors about it. But now it's been released, and like Vivid's trying to buy it, but it's come out like this week. So I think. And
who is it with?
It's with Bubba, his best friend's ex-wife, Bubba the Love Sponge, and he was on Howard Stern. He admitted that's who it is. He was on, I think, yesterday on Howard Stern.
So was Bubba the Love Sponge's ex-wife?
Yeah, Heather. Her name's Heather.
Boy, that sounds like this should be on Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Did you hear, caller, about Sonny? Tammy Sitch?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw her on the news. She got arrested like yesterday or today again. Yeah.
The 5th time in a month. I mean, this lady is out of her mind, and it was weird because the news story actually gave the address of the residence in Branford. And I don't know if this is where Chris Candido, Skip, lives, but I'm surprised they actually listed the address because now anybody can go there.
Yeah, no, another kook's going to go there.
Yeah, I mean, Sunny back in the day was a really, nice looking lady, and I haven't seen. I mean, I've only seen a mugshot of her now.
I've seen her in court, and she doesn't look good anymore. I don't know. She's close. She's like 39, I think they said, but yeah. She doesn't look as good.
Yeah, well. Anyway, I just before I let you go, I was on YouTube last night, and I just a little bored. I started typing in Jim Cornette in some of his old interviews, and I've always loved Jim Cornette. And they show the incident where he was at the Dairy Queen. He ordered a bunch of food, and they didn't have it ready for him because they thought it was a joke. And he went absolutely ballistic on the lady at the Dairy Queen drive-thru. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I'll try to look that up.
Yeah, type up on YouTube, type in Jim Cornette Dairy Queen, and you'll see this. It is probably the funniest couple minutes of your life that you've ever seen.
All right. Yeah, so like I said, I'd like to see you as Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, all right. That's a first. I will certainly consider that and keep that in mind.
Because, like I said, some of the other, like Frankenstein's good, Phantom of the Opera's good, but it might scare some children. You never know. So Hogan won't scare anyone, but I don't know. It's up to you.
All right. Well, thank you for the call.
All right, see you.
Take care. All right, well, we only have a couple minutes here. I just want to quickly, let's see if there's one story out of this news of the weird that I can get to that would really... All right, let's talk about this one since I was just talking about Dairy Queen and drive-thrus. A Florida buffoon, he flashed a fake gun and a badge and demanded free fast food at a McDonald's drive-thru. This idiot told the employees there he had just left a sting operation and did not have his wallet, and therefore he deserved free food because he was a cop. True story. So workers called police, and this guy was charged with impersonating an officer. And as much as he wants to be a cop now, he will certainly see a lot of cops as he is behind bars until he posted bond. But regardless if you're a cop or not, what is his reasoning in trying to tell the employees that he should, he deserves free food? I mean, how do you deserve anything like that? But I don't know, this guy is obviously not in the right frame of mind. We probably have one more quick story. Pennsylvania man tried to rob a bank out of $1 measly because he hoped to be sent back to a federal prison nearby. This 50-year-old idiot handed a note to the teller demanding $1. She thought it was a joke, but he insisted, and he got his wish. He is now back in federal prison. So there you have it, folks. Can't make this stuff up. We are just about out of time, ladies and gentlemen. I want to quickly remind you, Facebook.com/OpenMikeTV, also YouTube.com/OpenMike80, and you could also watch tonight's replay at WPAA.tv. Click on Video on Demand. My special guest in 2 weeks is Republican state candidate Greg Bashan, who will be joining me live on the Open Mic set. 3 weeks from tonight, we have our annual Halloween show, so be sure to watch. And still undecided as to what I will be wearing, but we shall see. Thank you for all the calls for chiming in with your poll question feedback. I want to thank producer Pat for another great show, our technical director Mike in the back control room. A very special thanks to all the callers tonight. And for everyone here at the Open Mic set, I am your host, Michael Cuomo, and I will see you next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Good night, everyone.